Hello, this is Adefemi Adeleke, and I'll be doing a live video presentation of my paper that talks about seven different topics, and they're all motivation, group and teams, conflict, negotiation, personality, values, and communication. In this video, I'll be talking about how these seven topics within organization behavior has actually helped me throughout the 5 months of this class. Now, I will start by motivation. Motivation. Motivation is an essential factor and helps to improve the performance of a given task by workers in an organization by improving their morale. Now, in particular, organization money plays a significant role in motivating workers. Now, for every firm, for every company, there are different ways a manager can actually motivate, you know, the workers. And money could be a very good role, compensation could be a good role, benefits could be a good reason why workers will become motivated to work and to put more effort into what they're doing, and the work environment as well too could be another factor. The work culture could be a good factor that could actually encourage workers or motivate workers to put more. Because if employees are actually motivated to do more, it leads and it yields productivity, which grows the company in size and in volume and also in profit as well. So motivation is actually an essential factor in every company. Now, the earliest effort that was carried out to design job designs was made during the period of scientific organization. Now, the idea of organization was raised by Frederick Taylor in his book, Principle of Scientific Management, where grit and influenced the organization of work. Now, he argued that manager's duty was to plan appropriately the job awaiting the workers to perform to avoid inefficiencies in production method of employee. Now, Frederick also believed in increasing productivity by encouraging the use of scientific methods. Now, scientific management has come up with many ideas that have influenced job design. Minimizing waste has been an important idea because it aims to identify how a job can be performed more efficiently. So, motivation has always been the pillar or the reason, or it has always been one of the reasons why a good firm would always succeed. And learning about this has actually helped me to actually stay motivated in the things I do. And when I wake up in the morning to go to work, and I'm tired and I don't want to go to work. But one of the things that actually motivate me is, why am I doing this? If I can actually explain to myself why, then I'll be motivated to go. And one of the reasons why I always wake up in the morning is for my family, to give them a better life, to give my dad the life that they never gave me, to give my parents the life that they never gave their parents, and also to prepare myself in such a way that I can give my own kids as well the life that I never had. So that's what motivated me personally. And learning about motivation has actually helped me to learn more on how to actually motivate myself by using different ways, not just about money, and my passion when I wake up has actually been a very definitive reasons why I wake up in the morning, go to work, wake up in the morning, attend classes, even though I'm too tired to attend classes, even though I don't want to attend classes. So this has actually helped me. And the next thing will be group and teams. Now, a group comprises individuals who come together with a common idea, such that one person's activity affect the other. We all are college students, and we're all in groups and teams for projects. There's no student who is currently going to school that has never been in a group, either formed by the professor or by themselves, within the class. And over the years, I've always been lucky getting into a very good group where everyone is pulling the weight. It's not as if one person is actually pulling the other person, or trying to. We all pulling our weight in all groups. But this semester, for one reason or the other, it seems all seniors are just lazy and they don't want to pull in the work. So getting in groups, and actually I think I'll just say being on Zoom has actually slowed down group activity in school or in college in 2010/2021, because people are more relaxed. There's no urgency to meet up, you know, for group projects and for group meetings. And one thing that I actually learned from these classes or from this particular topic is that I always find myself in groups where or in teams where everyone is not putting their weight, but I don't let that affect me because I know what I actually wanted. Now, I've been in groups of people not putting their weight, and what I do is If A is not putting the weight, I try to help because I feel your inefficiency is going to affect me. Like you not pulling your weight is going to affect my grade, and I don't want my grade to get affected. So I'm going to put in the work. And for me, it's always the group first before myself. Even though I did the homework or I did the project myself, I still submit the peer review group. I don't know if it's fair enough. I give everyone 10, or I give everyone equal mark, because for me it's always been about a team. About I'm always a team player, and even in my job as well, or probably my soccer team, we have a group of boys where we play together every Tuesday and every Thursday. We always stick to time, and actually this has actually helped me to not get disoriented if a group member is not pulling the weight in the group. So that is what I've actually learned from this group. And one of the problem of social loafing also occurs in an organization. Now, let's bring this back to an organization. Now, the problem of social loafing occurs in an organization due to employees working as a group. Social loafing can be solved by building a cohesive group and defining each member's task. Now, one thing is if each members in a group knows what they ought to do. If A is in charge of creating a spreadsheet, if B is in charge of getting the information and the data, it makes things easier. And there's something we call division of labor, splitting the job assignment. It only sucks when one of the group member, like I said, is not putting up with. Now, some organization develop team contracts that enables them to solve any challenges arising from the team. Now, establishing team meetings has also been used by different organizations and companies to help them decide and share the information. Right, in an organization, team faces challenges that influence the performance, and therefore, organizations are supposed to solve them immediately as they arise. Now, the next subject that I'm speaking on is conflict. Conflict. Organization conflicts can be termed as situations whereby there is a breakdown in decision making. Um, I'm Nigerian and I'm in America, and if there's one thing that would always occur is conflict due to language barrier, due to culture, and due to background as well. I'm from a different country, from a different culture. If I meet up with an American who has a different culture, there is always going to be conflict. There is always going to be conflict. Now, conflict can either be good or bad, depending on how each employee takes it. Now, individuals or employee at work might vary in thinking, ideas, and skills. These dissimilarities may spearhead group and people's differences, and such dissimilarities are the foundation of struggles in an organization. Now, in administration, conflict cannot be avoided. It cannot. There's no way. Because for the individual or business bonds of any complexity, battles can take place at any interval. The level of seriousness of the battle is reliant on the battle's nature. However, not all administrative conflicts are unscrupulous. Conflict comprise three components, namely the presence of the issue, tussle of some kind, the convoluted parties must obligate or reason that they possess incompatible objective, and the necessity to compel some interdependence degree among the engaged individuals. Now, administration consists of folks with capricious perceptions, views, attitude, interest, and values. This causes the similarity of opinion in the administration. Now, conflict can be of great importance or destructive, depending on the way and managing, depending on the way of managing and approaching them. Right. So conflict can be managed by different approaches, right? And change structure act as a technique of fixing the battles. More so, if the edifice is the root of this fictional battle, when the battle is between team members, the quickest way and easiest way of approaching the battle can be fluctuating the team structure, splitting the characters that stayed at likelihood. On occasions in which the battle is ascribed to the widely different preference, styles, and values, replacing some of these might solve the problem. Now, the study has revealed that whenever an opponent sits directly across from every other, an increased amount of battle is likely to upsurge. Consequently, conflict happen to reduce when they tend to sit sideways. So certain structure might actually tends down, conflict by sitting sideways. And group battles within administration can be elevated by concentrating their attention on a mutual, such as competition, right? So there are difference or importance of conflict. Conflict in administration can aid in thinking analytically. They can encourage challenges to opinions, policies, views, plans, rules, and goals, which would require critical analysis to justify or create changes as they are required. Now, battles also support augmented cohesion. Battles between diverse administration advance fidelity and cohesion in the administration and a greater sense of crowd recognition to compete with the outsiders. So conflict, like I said, can either be a good thing or a bad thing because people are always going to have their own opinion. People are always going to have their own ideas. So instead of we just taking a minute to actually listen to one another, but no, this is how I see it. This is how you see it. This is, and that actually causes conflict within an organization, and that could lead to malice, and that could actually lead to less income for the company and less productivity. So depending on how an organization, and this has actually helped me because I'm one person that when I play soccer and I get a wrong call, I'm always shouting, I'm always angry and all that. So during the period of this class, I was actually able to, just take my time. Listen, just calm down. I always like to put myself in other people's shoes to understand where they're coming from. Like I said, we're all from different background, different ideology, different countries, different cultures. And we all are in this country, or we all are in a place where we are bound to be at loggerheads at each other. So it's just mature enough for me to just, learn how to handle conflict and make sure it doesn't affect the company. Because in the long run, we all love the company and we are trying to make it a better company, so it can also stand out. So that's one of the reasons why I believe people get in conflict with one another. So it's actually up to the manager or the boss or whoever it is that is spearheading the organization to know how to handle conflict between two parties that are different, are holes at each other due to values, beliefs, and morale and background and all that. And the next topic will be negotiation. Now, this topic in particular is one of my favorite because it actually helped me and I put it into practice. And right across my table, I printed a paper out, like I typed on the tips in the textbook that I actually took to a job interview. Now, negotiation helped me secure my internship. So that's why this topic actually is very, very key to me. And negotiation can be described as a method whereby at least two parties work towards a covenant or solving battles when it arises. Now, negotiation include five phases: investigation, determination of BATNA, presentation, bargaining, and closure. Now, in the first negotiation phase, like I have a tips for negotiation for success. It's called tips for negotiation success. And the first one says focus on agreement first when you're negotiating. The second one is be patient. The third is whose reality. Is it my reality or is it your reality? If I'm trying to negotiate um, a job offer and you're offering me below what I know I'm way more, I'm worth more, which reality are we going to go back? You giving me that $10 per hour or me saying, no, I'm worth $15 per hour? So it's about knowing whose reality is in the picture. And the next one is deadlines. The last is be comfortable with silence. And this is actually a big factor because when people get into the negotiation mode and they give a price and whoever it is they're actually negotiating with goes silent, they panic. Oh, I'm sorry if that's too much for you. I understand. Let me bring it down. No, no, no. Be comfortable with silence because people need to think, you know what? If this guy is saying he's worth $15, is it actually worth it? Let me think about it. So be comfortable with silence. And this actually helped me, like I said, get an internship. So I was able to use the skills and I'm going to take it with me everywhere I go for the rest of my life. Now, the next topic that I'll be talking about is personality. Now, this includes individual thoughts and behavioral pattern in an organization. Now, personality can actually be related to conflict in such a way that, like I said, we all are from different background, we all have different upbringing, we weren't raised by the same mother. First of it, there are even triplets or even twins to conflict at each other because they're in the womb, they stay in the womb for 9 months. Doesn't mean they're gonna have the same ideas or the same approach to things. So our personality is always gonna be different. Now, like I said, right, personality includes an individual's thoughts and behavioral pattern in an organization. Different people does have varied and unique personalities, which enable us to understand the reactions of particular people on when under some situations. Now, managers should therefore be aware of the different personalities among the employees that they may engage them easily. I know being a manager is not actually an easy thing, but these are one of the perks that comes with being a manager. You have to deal with people because people have their egos. Oh no, no, no. Mine say is always the last. Whatever I say is final. Whatever idea I contribute to the project is what I want everyone to go by. Like the manager should be a mediator to actually calm people down because we are, like I said, different background, different values, and we see things differently. So it's the job of the manager to learn how to handle people's personality. Okay, if this person is actually good with numbers, how about we put him in a project where he can actually work with those numbers? Or if this person is good with with creativity, let's put this person in a graphic design to come up with ideas, come up with ways. So, like I said, different personality, different traits. Now, people's personality traits are described by the language of a particular individual. Now, generally, personality traits are described by various words as personal characteristics. Mainly, there are five traits that describe the personality of different people in an organization. Now, these include conscientiousness, openness, neuroticism, agreeableness, and extraversions. Now, conscientiousness includes organized, oriented, and achievement characteristics. Again, openness involves creativity, being open to ideas, and intellectual when presenting the ideas. Now, on the other hand, friendly, talkative, and free to enjoy social situations are classified under extraversion. Personality traits are also neuroticism, where individuals are moody, irritable, and temperamental. Agreeableness is where an individual shows tolerance, kindness, and trustworthy and sensitivity to their workmates. People are easy to get in touch with. Colleagues where their behavior does not depend on people's good mood. Other personality dimension includes self-monitoring, proactive personality, and self-esteem. And personality is as crucial as anything because it actually predicts the work behavior. Now, this can be applied in interviews as organizations try to assess individual personality to effectively reach their working abilities. So that is that under personality. And the next one would be values, which is the penultimate. Now, values, these are desirable conceptions that guide an individual in the way of living. Reflective goals describe the social action and how they relate with colleagues. Now, as one accumulates life experience, the values are established, and this involves entire living. Now, generally, the important values in one's life help them decide, direct them on how to behave, and give perception on their environment. Now, values are said to affect significantly workers' productivity, where they may demand jobs involving high risk and fast action for those varying simulations. Now, again, those who focus more on achievement are likely to be entrepreneurs. Now, managers, it's the manager's job to check both the values and personalities to give implications for organizing accomplishments. Activities such as delegating duties and ensuring commands within departments are likely to be successful. Now, when I interviewed with the company, we took him marine I think that was last month. I asked about the culture of the company, I asked about how they handle projects. And one of the things that they said was that with this company, they can just give you a project and just have you take up a project on your own. Like just have you super aid a project or a team with no like the team actually is okay and confident enough in their workers to be able to give them a project and just ask them to come up with their own group and come up with something like just to build that creativity. And I think that is actually a good thing, and like I don't know if it's true, but what I heard about, I don't know if it's Facebook or Google, that when you work with these companies in Silicon Valley, you work from like probably from 8 a.m. to like 2 p.m. and the rest of the day you use to work on your own personal project. Now if you come up with something good, you can pitch it to the company, they will buy it from you, and you're gonna be in charge of it. So I think that actually helps building a company and actually keeping the talent indoor instead of they going outside and auctioning whatever it is they come up with because it's a technology company and there are competitions in this field. So these will actually up and values, right, are general or specific. Now, this shows that one considers particular values, such as owning a house or a general, where cases such as health and democracy are considered. Thus, organization managers are entitled to consider both specific and general values before hiring their employees for the ongoing project. Now, the output is improved since work is divided as employees' values, with each getting the best place they fit in. You don't want to work in a place where you are good with numbers and they're putting you with creativity. It's going to actually bring your job productivity down. Everyone should be put in a field or in a team or in a group where they're more comfortable in. And as you can see, with every of my explanation, I'm relating it back to each of these things that I already spoke about: the values and teams, the values, the morale, the conflicts, motivations, personalities, because these are all intertwined with each other. And a good manager should be able to handle each of these seven things accordingly. Now, the next one will be communication. Communication. And this is a critical aspect in organizational behavior because personally, I work with a company last year called Allied Universal. And there's one thing this company is known for is they have bad and poor communication. Now, my boss will send me, I'm a rover, and my boss will send me to a post to go cover a shift. And if I get there, I would meet a guard, a security officer there, and I'll be like, didn't you call off? Or, and then I'll call my boss and he's going to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this person called off. I didn't know. Don't worry. I'll pay you for overtime. I'll pay you for driving. And there are times where I would go to these places and I won't get paid because my boss made a mistake by not communicating well. And because I'm a rover, I can just get called at any time. And if I get called, I have to drop whatever it is I'm doing to go to the shift. And it's always sad or it's always, heartbreaking when I get to a place and someone's already covering the shift or no one called off or there's this miscommunication. So that actually affected and killed my motivation of always, picking up the calls every time they call. So communication is key in every organization. It's an essential aspect of business management as it coordinates employees' behavior to achieve the targeted goals. It includes passage of information between individuals through particular recognizable systems of behavior, symbol, and signs. Now, this system must be common to the involved parties for better understanding. Every organization demands fluent and clear communication since it is the basis for business performances. Generally, any business environment experiencing miscommunication must face negative outcomes as it interprets the workflow, leading to interpersonal strife and delays. Communication is sensitive in some departments, such as airplane cockpits, where it decides living or death, right? Miscommunication still causes lawsuits, such as litigation in some institutions. The healthcare organization are among those facing patient unhappiness, thus suing the involved doctors. Imagine a doctor asking the nurse to get him a scalpel or whatever, and they bring scissors. It can actually that is uh, a life or death situation. So in areas like that, it could be catastrophic if there's poor communication between a pilot in a cockpit or an hospital, as an example. Now, the organization is also able to retain its best employees by having a very good flow line of communication. Now, managers must keep the employees updated on new activities and programs that demand changes and help the organization maximize its profits. Communication process is vital in an organization as it fulfills functions such as information transmission, coordinating both the employees and departmental managers, and sharing feelings and emotions. Communication and coordination ensure company projects are successful. Now, in organization dealing with digital programs, software development must involve communication and invention. Now, in their project, complex situations should be effectively analyzed where multiple stakeholders, managers, and professionals communicate effectively to achieve their goals. Now, they must then involve the community in their project to become more agile when focusing on defined targets. For effectiveness in project, face-to-face communication works the best in that it is flexible and responds quickly to any uncertainty during project. Now, these skills, I call them skills, these 7 skills are very, very essential for anyone in any area or in any walks of life. Either you being a scientist, you being a lawyer, you being a politician, you being an accountant, you must possess these 7 keys. You don't actually have to be a manager to actually have the skills, because these skills are traits of a good employee, of a good boss, of a good entrepreneur, of a good student. You must be able to deal with motivation on your own, motivating yourself, finding things that motivate you. You must be able to work in groups and teams and be able to work with your head calmed. You must be able to deal with conflict when they arises, because conflict will always arise in every and in any organization. You must have a good negotiating skills, because even before you get into the job, you need the negotiating skills when you're in the job. While you're in the job, while you're on the job, you need the good negotiating skills. As a politician, you should be able to do this. I'm just using a politician as an example. I'm just trying to broaden these 7 skills, like I call them, to all walks and to all areas of life. You should be able to deal with people's personality. Like I said, we are all from different background, different ideology, different upbringing, different religion, different race. But there's one race, if there's one thing we all share in common, is we all trying and we all striving to become a better person. So these skills are things every human being must possess. And this class has actually taught me to be able to use these skills and to be able to function in them. I'm still trying, I'm not there yet, but I'm working on myself to become a better person. And for every class, I take notes, I print out papers, I type, bring out a keyword for every classes under this 7 skills. Communication, essential. A teacher must be able to communicate effectively with the students. A politician must be able to communicate effectively with its base if he or she wants to win an election. So these 7 skills are essential and they are integral for a successful business and for a successful employee. Now, generally, organizational behavior controls its performance aspects such as inappropriate communication might lead to a poor productivity and even closure. On the other hand, conflict leads to business closure if professionals and business managers fail to make corrections early in advance. And there's one thing that I've always told myself is, in case of a conflict, just try to be the mature person. Like, situations will arises where people would feel like they are not being heard enough, like their voice, like they get suppressed because no one is actually listening to them. So as a manager, you should create an environment whereby every of your employee should have a room, or should have a feeling whereby they feel their voices can be heard. They can actually speak out and not feel intimidated and not feel like someone's going to tell them to shut up because they have no idea. So these are actually things that would cause a business to close down, because a happy worker or a happy employee is a successful business. I don't know. I'm just making that up on my own. So conflict resolutions are best made through negotiations, where managers and workers or customers settle any burning issue politely. Humility for me is key. Organization behavior should still check on groups and teams that help in maximizing the profit. Now, this gives managers count and value to every group helping them. Increasing performance is a critical aspect that should involve consideration of employee values and personality before in work progress. So this actually brings me to the end of my presentation. This class, like I said, has actually taught me a lot, and I'm going to take every lesson learned in this class everywhere with me, in any way and anywhere I go to. So that brings the end to my presentation. Thank you. Like I said, my name is Adefemi Adeleke.